So, Jack, what did today's announcement mean for you as the captain of the footy club?
Oh, it's huge. It creates a very level playing field for us now and solidifies our position in Melbourne. Not that it's ever been in doubt, but it also secures our future as well. With so much going on in this precinct around North Melbourne, our footy club is really a piece of that centrepiece.
Do you remember when you first joined the club, or at any stage, probably in the younger days, where the state of the finance of the club, did that seep down into the playing group, or did it cause you concerns?
I was pretty young and naive as well back when I first started, so the only one thing that I did recognise and remember about starting here at North was our old facilities on the hill over there was the old social club room. Excuse me. And we had to put buckets in the lights when it used to rain and that was normal. And we had Boomer Harvey, Drew Petrie, Michael Freda were the ones who were putting the buckets under the lights. And that was what we had. We had no air conditioning in summer, so we just sweat our brain off in pre-season training. And one day next to the boxing ring, a beehive in the wall, a piece of plaster fell out and we all had to run out of the gym because the bees had come out. But that was just part of being at the North Melbourne Footy Club. And I didn't know any different at an AFL footy club. Not until you come to a facility like this and you get exposed to elite stuff that you realise that, geez, we were a little bit behind back then. But we never let that show on field. And it's a testament to the coaches we had and the footy department staff throughout those times. Danny Laidley and Brad Scott also were in my first two coaches, and now with Nobes, those guys never used that as an excuse once. We were out on a Saturday playing against the big clubs every week, and there was zero excuses. We had to go out and perform no matter what, and I think that's why there's a bit of the talk around the Shimona spirit and stuff, but that's why the people are so rich in culture, and that's why we hold that so high at North Melbourne, is because that's all we had. We didn't have facilities and we didn't have resources, we just had people and we made do with it.
Did you envy your mates that went off to the big clubs?
To be honest, no, only because I didn't know any different at the time. It was awesome to know that a bit later in your career when you beat those teams, the difference in what they had to prepare and what we had made it that much more sweeter as well, which was great.
And just with that, do you think, we were talking before about attracting further players as well, you've been able to do that, but this might even push that even a bit further?
Yeah, I think that helps.
Yeah.
And I remember chatting with Brad Scott. I've spent a lot of time with him over the 10 years he was coaching, but his number one thing was to give every kid who was drafted a level playing field, whether you get drafted to a Big Four club in Victoria, you go to the northeast of Queensland, or you're at North Melbourne at Arden Street. No kid should go, oh shit, I've been drafted to wherever I have been because their facility's no good or they've got no money. But now here at Arden Street, there is no excuses. We have the best facilities. We've got zero debt. I think I don't know how many teams in the comp have zero debt, but it's probably not that many. So we're ahead of a lot of clubs, and we're a very attractive place to come to. And I think the way we're going to play our footy as well is going to attract a few people.
Just getting Danny back, it's a family club, and it's great. You must be rapt to see Danny back here.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've seen Danny a couple of times over the last probably 5 or 6 years, but it's awesome to welcome her back to the footy club. She's played a huge role throughout the mid-2000s and through that period where we've been shipped off to the Gold Coast, and the performances on field from our footy club at that point were because of her and what she was able to do. So she was my first coach, and she set the scene for a lot of our stuff going forward, and especially for my career. So we owe her a lot of thanks, and it's awesome to be able to get her back here and see how happy she is now.
Hugh Greenwood, a massive signing for the club, caps off with a pretty big week.
It does, yeah. It's awesome news to get Hugh down to the club, and I think he'll be down in a couple of weeks when we start back with the older boys, and chatting to a couple of guys who I know up there. They're really big raps on him as a character. Obviously Nobes had a bit to do with him previously, and we can't wait to get him down here in the blue and white and see what he can do for us next year, and help us add to our midfield mix and forward mix as well.
What was your initial reaction when it happened? How does this happen? How does it?
I got a call from the coach to say that this is what's happening. I was like, how's that even possible?
Did you like the ruthless streak of it?
Oh, to be honest, I think that's just part of business. It's a competitive industry, and that's the way it unfolds. So I'm rapt that we are able to attract another quality player to our list, and it's going to help us going forward.
Speaking of that draft next week, Jason, what can you tell us about it? Have you had a good look yet or not?
I've watched his highlights, and he looks like he's a pretty handy player. So, until it's done and it's official, he'll be a North Melbourne player then, if that's the way that they decide to go. We can't wait to get all of our draftees back and started and get them into the program and get them ready to play, hopefully next year, which they all should be ready to do.
Have you spoken with him at all?
No, I haven't spoken to him at all, not yet. We'll wait till they're official and get into them.